Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea on this week's parasha. Parashat Chayei Sarah starts with the burying of Sarah Imenu. Remember that Sarah passes away, and therefore Avraham Avinu has to come and he has to get the burial plot for them. So he goes to for her. So he goes to Benechet and he wants to buy it. And what he's going to buy is what's known today as the Marat Machpelah. Now, very interesting. Who was the owner? Ephron Achiti. So he goes to Benechet, and it's Ephron. Ephron initially comes and he says to Avraham Avinu, I'm going to give it to you for free. Avraham Avinu says, no, I want to pay. Now he comes and he says, okay, you want to pay? What's the difference between 400 silver shekel between you and me? Now, one second, that's a very high price. You just went for free to 400, right? It doesn't matter what currency you want to go to. That's a big difference. When I'm offering you something for free and all of a sudden to jump to 400, what's going on? And then it had to be even ovela socher, which means a type of a currency which could go over for everything, meaning not just like stam. You have to get like the best currency. But now something very interesting which happens. In the Pasuk, when Ephron suddenly raises the price of the plot, right? It's something very interesting that we notice that the word of Ephron beforehand is written Maleh. Maleh means Ephron, Ain Pe, Resh, Vav, Nun Sufit. It has a Vav. But when it says that Abraham paid him, it says Ephron without the Vav. Now, sometimes the Torah comes and spells something with a Vav, without a Vav, Sukkah, with a Vav, without a Vav. Sometimes it does that, yeah. But it's very weird that in the same Pasuk, you're going to have once with a Vav and once without a Vav. Now, we know how meticulous the Torah is. So there has to be something a little bit deeper here. So there's a Midrash. And the Midrash Rabbah comes and it says, and it says like this. There's a pasuk that says in Mishle, and it says that one who's over eager for wealth, that has an evil eye, he doesn't know what's going to befall him. So the Midrash says, who's that referring to? That somebody that's eager for the wealth. He says that's what? That is going to be Ephron. He says, why? He becomes so excited to make a lot of money, so he failed to realize the windfall that would cause. So therefore, it took away his vav. Now, it's quite likely that. Do you really think that Ephron cares if his name has a vav or doesn't have a vav? So, oh wow, what a punishment! We took away a vav from his name. I don't think you think he even cares. It doesn't really make sense. But rather, it's for us. It's not a lesson for Ephron. It's a lesson for us, really. This is the Saba Mikelem, the altar of Kelem, once said in a shmuz. He went and he said like this. He said that this was a story that once happened with. They say some people say it's Yonatan Eibishit, some people say it's other people. But what happened is that there was a debate. What was the big debate? The big debate. I heard that it was even some people even say the Rambam. It was many whoever it was that the debate happened to. It was basically that you had a lot of wise men, and there was one big rabbi. What happened was the wise men. They said you could take an animal and you could train him to be just like a human being. And all of a sudden it'll be 100% as if like a human. Okay, fine. So no matter how intelligent and everything, when he said, no, I apologize. The rabbi said, no, an animal's an animal. So okay, fine. So they went and they took a cat and they trained the cat to walk on its hind legs, to walk on the back legs, and to carry a tray with the palm of his hand. So therefore he became as if say like a waiter. And they come and they trained him so proficiently in everything. They're going to make a large banquet, and they're going to invite the rabbi there. Now, what happens is that, right? They're going to invite the rabbi. He comes in, and all of a sudden, the cat is doing all these things. So they tell the rabbi, "No, you see." So now, again, there's going to be two different versions of the story. One version that some people bring down is that he did it purposely. Other versions is that it happened accidentally. But basically, the rabbi came and he took out something to sniff. They used to sniff like the tobacco, which they still do it on Kippur and things like that, and even until nowadays. So he went and he opened it up, and all of a sudden, a mouse jumped out. Some people, again, two different versions. I heard the version that he did it purposely because he already knew what was coming. And another version was he didn't even know it was a cat. They just invited him to the banquet. When he came, this is what's happening. He's like, uh-oh. He comes, but he's thinking, he doesn't know what to answer. The little mouse jumps out and starts running. Now, what's a cat going to do?
Es que en el shiur de Rabino.
That's it. He's going to come, right? And he's
Yeah.
going to run out, right? And what's he going to do? He's going to completely come and completely, that's it. He's running around, right? He's a cat. What do you want from him? So the cat's running and breaking and then running. So then he went and he said, my point has been proven. What does that mean? How does the altar of Kelem say, what is this connection with us? And he says like this, Ephron can dress up as the nicest and most respectable person in the world. He can talk the talk and walk the walk, as they say, right? He could talk about generosity, everything, right? I'm going to give it to you for free. However, it's an act. It's not true. That's not who Ephron was. As many people they know that it's Ki'ilu in like a Mishneh Nivhal Leon. He's running after money. So therefore, the true Ephron that was running after money is the one with the Vav, the civilized and generous person. To emphasize that he's not the real. That's not the real one. So ironically, Ephron is not the only character in this week's parasha that we see the same thing of lust of money. We also see it somewhere else. Also, he says, right, with Lavan. He comes and he says like this. He says, there's all the debate about nurture versus nature, right? Which means what dominates? The development of a person, the way that he's born, or, right, the personality, the way that he's going to form afterwards. So sometimes we see it. So Parashat Chayei Sarah, you have two brothers. It's a brother and a sister. They're completely different in their personalities. Lavan Harami, he wants to wipe out Klal Yisrael. The sister is Rivka Imenu. But how different are they? It's polar opposites, completely opposites. Why? Lavan is only always running towards money. Eliezer comes, he runs towards him. He sees all the jewelry, all the camels. He said, this guy's rich. When Yaakov Avinu, that his nephew, comes running, what does he do? He does the same thing. He comes running out to him. He wants to see. He starts kissing him, but he doesn't see anything. So he says maybe it's got hidden. Maybe it's in his cheeks, in the thing, in the body. Maybe he's got things hiding. There's something wrong. He was always running after. The Rizal Kadosh said something beautiful. Lavan, right? Lavan is Lamed, Bet, Nun. Lamed is for Lavan. Bet is for Bil'am. Remember, Bil'am and Lavan were the same, and Bil'am did the exact same. Bil'am comes and he tells Balak, even if you're going to give me a whole house full of money and this and that, he was always about the money. The money talks. In God we trust. Here it is. Here's the money. Show me the money. Right? And the last one is going to be Naval. Naval was a despicable. He was a Naval. This guy was, how do you call it? During the time of already of Shlomo Melech, of David Melech, sorry. And we see who the person was. The lust never changed. Rivka Imenu, this concept of running after money never changed. Rivka Imenu was the exact opposite. She was always a giver, always to give. She wanted to give the water to Eliezer, to the camels, to this. She wasn't a person that was, that's a chutzpah. This guy Eliezer comes. He's a strong man. He's got all these, he comes and he asks a girl, listen, can you feed my cat? Can you give me to drink? Like, you can't get it yourself? No, she was the ultimate giver. Lavan was an alternate taker, just like Navala Karmeli, right, and everything else. Rivka becomes Rivka Imenu. Lavan, we know what happens to him. So you see something incredible, right? That when a person's going to come, right, and they're going to have this attribute of running after money, it was an act, and that's why the Torah comes and tells us about the vav with the vav without a vav. He was all a show. There was nothing really there because the true person shows is a. So even though it was a good act and a good movie player and everything, he was a good actor, but there's nothing else, and that's what the Torah is trying to teach us. The Torah is trying to teach us to be truthful from within ourselves, to understand, not to be running after that money, because if not, then look what's happening over here. If one comes from for free, he starts charging him a fortune, which doesn't even make sense. But again, it's because his desire that he's nivhal leon, he's running after that money. And that's what Rivka was the exact opposite. Rivka was a person that always wanted to give to other people. Lavan was a person that was taking from other people. And that's why we come and we see in this week's parasha the importance, right, of being truthful to ourselves. And that's why he lost the vav of his name. It's true for him. He doesn't care if he has a vav or he doesn't have a vav. But it's for us to show us who the true personality, right, really was in this story of Bilam.